Knowing that humans are responsible for climate change makes me feel like we have an obligation to do something about it. It's kind of like we can't just, this is something we can't push under the rug and ignore anymore, especially because of the scientific data, the plethora of scientific data that backs up the understanding that we are causing it, I think is reason for a call to arms on our part to work to remediate what we can and reverse, if possible, the damage we've already done to the climate. Climate change is the phrase used to explain the effects of what's known as global warming. Global warming itself is the warming of the Earth in general by the increase of CO2 in the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, due to the burning of fossil fuels by mankind. While some people think that global warming is just things getting hotter, in reality, what we see with climate change is that the warming effect makes things like droughts happen more frequently in some areas, and then has rainfall happening more frequently in other areas. So climate change is just the most accurate way to describe the effects of global warming. In September, the United Nations met in New York City to hash out a worldwide climate action plan that would be completed a year from now. People from around the world, around the country, decided to meet, and this has been long planned, to march alongside Central Park to advocate for strong action against climate change. Being a student participating in the march, it was very awe-inspiring and humbling. Walking amongst all the different people, I was struck by how diverse of a crowd it was. And so I think seeing the diversity of the crowd and everyone being there kind of under this like-minded approach, but advocating for their own things within the march, like recycling, clean energy investment, wildlife protection. It was just really cool. I felt like I was part of something greater than myself. I believe we do have hope to reverse climate change. I believe that we can reverse climate change. But oftentimes you hear people say things like, let's save the Earth. We're gonna save the Earth, save Mother Earth. But I almost think it's a little misleading. I think the Earth will be fine. The Earth has been around much longer than we have. What won't be okay is us. We are not gonna fare very well with climate change if it gets worse. I think the best mindset to approach the problems that we are facing with climate change is that of optimism. I don't think there's any really room for pessimism because that doesn't get anything done. The first step of solving a problem is realizing we have one, and to realize we have one means acknowledging it head on and with a kind of can-do attitude. Otherwise, if we resign ourselves to just sitting back and letting things take their course, we're going to see a lot of bad things happen. And I think that kind of pushing under the rug spurs apathy, and we can't have apathy at this point. We need to have optimistic, strong action against climate change.